When it comes to road trips, I'm pretty sure Nevada is not on a lot of people's radar outside of the major cities of Reno and Las Vegas. But the truth is, Nevada outside the big cities is filled with charming small towns that are rich in history and are filled with an abundance of culture and some of the nicest hospitality you'll ever find. My grandpa and I spent a few days exploring Carson City, Virginia City, Dayton, Genoa, and Tonopah, Nevada, which all played an important role in the establishment of Nevada as a territory and later a state. So sit back and enjoy my grandpa and I's time exploring these hidden gems found in the state of Nevada. Carson City is the capital of Nevada and is known for its rich history and beautiful landscapes. It was founded in 1858 during the Nevada Territory's early days and quickly became the capital of Nevada Territory after it was created in 1861. And then when Nevada became a state in 1864, Carson City became the permanent capital of the brand new state of Nevada. I'll be honest, Carson City really goes under the radar in terms of things to see and do in the state of Nevada, because it really seems like places like Carson City are just kind of thrown under the rug, while places like Las Vegas and Reno get all the spotlight in Nevada. And people often forget that Carson City is even the state capital of Nevada in the first place. So my grandpa and I decided to explore the downtown area of Carson City and show off its rich culture, unique history, and natural beauty.
All right, hello everybody. My grandpa and I are on another road trip. Tell the people where we're at right now.
Right now we're in Carson City, Nevada, the state capital.
Yep. And where are we going right now?
We're going to go to the Nevada Museum. We're going to go check out some information.
The Nevada State Museum is actually partially located in the old Carson City Mint Building, which was in operation from 1870 to 1893, and is one of the many historic buildings found in downtown Carson City, Nevada. On a side note, if you happen to have any coins with the Carson City Mint stamped on them, they're worth a lot of money, let me tell you folks. The Nevada State Museum in Carson City is one of 7 Nevada State Museums, and this particular one here in Carson City opened in 1941.
So my grandpa and I are just outside the Nevada State Museum, and right here they actually have a highlight of the state of Nevada here in the concrete, which I think is really cool. And then if you can't tell, these are all of the counties of Nevada right here.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. They have a star there that's just shows where the counties are.
That's where the county seats are.
The county seats are, yeah. So if you look out that way, there you can see all the counties.
Yep. Obviously, this is Clark County right here, Las Vegas being the county seat. Right above Clark is Lincoln, and the county seat is Pioche right over there. And then this is the largest county in Nevada, being Nye. And then, of course, the county seat is Tonopah right here. And then so on. You can see all the rest of the counties in Nevada right here.
It should be noted that the museum is open 6 days a week and is only closed on Mondays. After paying the fees to get inside, my grandpa and I quickly went to exploring what the museum had to offer, and let me tell you, this is easily one of the best museums I have ever been to. One of the first areas of the museum my grandpa and I went over to was the Native American exhibit, which gave us a lot of information about Native American history in Nevada and what life was like here before the arrival of European settlement, when people started moving west towards California during the California Gold Rush, and then of course later on the Comstock Lode here in Nevada. One cool thing that they have in this museum here is the ichthyosaur fossil, which was extracted in the West Humboldt Range near Lovelock, Nevada. This is the official Nevada state fossil right here. And then of course right here you have this mammoth fossil, and it's just really cool that they have these on display here, and just really it goes to show that even a state like Nevada, these giant creatures once roamed these lands long before either of us were here. I really like this topographic map here that just shows the basin and range and all the various mountain ranges found here in Nevada. In fact, Nevada has over 300 named mountain ranges, which is the most of any state.
So as most of you know, Nevada is mostly within the Great Basin, but there's this one little area right here that kind of creeps way up into central Nevada that's part of the White River that's actually not part of the Great Basin, because the White River can actually flow into the Muddy River down here and eventually end up in Lake Mead. But the White River mostly flows underground, so a lot of people don't realize that this river right here actually flows mostly underground, as is the case with a lot of other rivers in the state, such as the Armagosa River way down here by Beatty.
I really like this photo of the Lehman Caves that they have on display here. I'd love to check that out someday. And then of course right here they just have a whole bunch of animals on display here, which are commonly found here in Nevada, like this eagle right here. That's just really awesome to see. Then of course you have black bears, which are often found in the higher elevation mountains like near Lake Tahoe and the Ruby Mountains. And then you also have like bighorn sheep, which is the official Nevada state mammal right here. The Pony Express played a vital role in transporting mail from the Midwest to the West, and it passed right through the heart of Nevada here. I can only imagine what life was like out here in the Wild West during the early days of settlement out here in Nevada, because it just must have been really rough just to set up all these towns that are just so isolated from the rest of the United States. And then of course the Transcontinental Railroad brought a much further growth to the state of Nevada after it was complete in 1869. And then of course you had the famous Virginia and Truckee Railroad that connected Carson City up to the Comstock Lode up there near Virginia City as well. It's really amazing to me how Nevada has changed shape over the years and how it was expanded over the years as more territory kept getting added to the state.
Alright, so we're inside the Nevada State Museum here, and one thing that always really intrigues me about Nevada is how it became a state, and as you can see right behind my grandpa over here is how much bigger Nevada actually became over the years. So when Nevada Territory was originally established, it was just that small sliver of land there on the left, and then territory got added in 1862, 1866, and 1867, which is the current shape of Nevada today. And Nevada is actually one of the few states to actually get bigger after it became a state instead of smaller, due to the addition of other states or territories.
Yeah, there were different reasons for that. One of them was the silver and gold strikes, and also water. That was another big issue.
Yeah, imagine if Nevada didn't have access to the Colorado River.
Yeah, there would be pretty dry state.
More than it already is.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Another thing that I really like that they have in this museum here is these old poker tables and just like old gambling machines that really showed what Nevada was like when gambling was first legalized in the state in the 1930s during the Great Depression. Then of course they also have vehicles from that era as well, which is just really awesome.
I think I found something that's older than you.
Definitely, yeah. That's nice. It's an old Maxwell.
And old gas prices too. Those were the days.
Yep.
I'm only really showing you guys the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this museum here. They have a lot more stuff on display here that I just wish I could show in this video, and I just wish I had the time to show you. But my grandpa and I were only here for about an hour, so we crammed as much as we could in this hour that we were here, because they were going to close, I believe, in an hour after we got there, so we just really tried to rush through here. But I just really hope you guys just enjoy this place right here, because I really like going into museums and giving them a lot of attention, because it just seems like not a lot of people go to museums these days. And when my grandpa and I were visiting this museum here in late June, it felt like we were the only people in there, which was really sad to me. I always like going to these museums to learn about like the history of the area, and then of course I like to incorporate a lot of the history that I learn in these museums in my videos as well. So hopefully you guys get to appreciate these types of videos that my grandpa and I do, because it just really sheds some light on all of the hard work and dedication that goes into these places. At this point in the tour, we were actually in the old Carson City Mint building, which was really cool, and then they had these like mint machines and just showed how like the minting process worked back in the day, which I think is really cool. And I actually used to collect a lot of Carson City Morgan silver dollars, so it's just really cool to see how everything was made back then. And then of course seeing all these old guns and rifles and everything like that, from the Civil War era to Reconstruction to the early days of the World Wars. It's just really cool to see all these on display here, because it just really brings you back to an era that really all this stuff was starting to become more commonly used in the battlefields and everything like that. Of course, Nevada became a state during the American Civil War.
Here, let's go digging for some gold. I know you always wanted to be a miner in a past life.
Down the stairs. You ready?
Are you ready?
I guess.
It's so dark in here.
And perhaps the coolest thing about this entire museum is that you can actually tour a mine below the Carson City Mint that basically makes it feel like you're back in the gold rush and the silver rush days of the Comstock Lode here in Nevada. I can't imagine what working conditions must have been like back then, but it's just really nice that we can actually go back to an era and just really appreciate all the hard work that went into the mining process back then, just to give us all the things that we really take for granted today, like we just go buy it or whatever and just wear it. But man, these people really put their own lives at risk just to extract these minerals and ores and everything like that were found here in the hills of Nevada. And then, of course, as you guys know, the famous Comstock Lode basically helped Nevada become a state as soon as it did, because otherwise it probably would have taken a very long time for Nevada to become a state, because there was just no real reason for people to be out here besides to mine for gold and silver back in the day, of course.
Are you enjoying your time being a miner for a day?
Oh yeah, it's cool. It's really cool down here. It's neat.
I have to crouch down, but you're right at the perfect height.
Yeah, I'm just a munchkin, so yeah.
My grandpa and I spent about 20 minutes of our entire tour down here in the mine just checking out all of the various shafts and everything like that they had on display here, which I'm sure were, of course, of the time, and it was just really cool to kind of step back in time and just really appreciate everything that these guys had to go through to mine all these precious ores and minerals.
Grandpa and I just got done here at the Nevada State Museum. What did you think of it?
It's really good. It's really a comprehensive museum. If you ever get a chance and you're in this area, I definitely recommend going in there. It's only $10 to get in, but it's well worth it, and you could spend probably a half a day in there looking at, if you really got into it and looked at all the exhibits and everything that they offer.
Yep, and it's located right here in downtown Carson City along Old US 395, also known as Carson Street.
Right, it's the main drag.
Yep. All right, you ready to go check out the Nevada State Capitol?
Yeah, let's go.
One thing I will say about downtown Carson City is that it is very walkable. And unlike the rest of Nevada, Carson City really doesn't have a strong emphasis on casinos or gambling that much compared to places like Reno and Las Vegas, of course. But it does have a few casinos in the downtown area, like the Nugget Casino, which has a model of the Batmobile down there in the casino floor, which I think is really cool. So stay tuned to the later part of the video and we'll show you what that looks like. But it only takes us about 5 minutes to walk from the Nevada State Museum over towards the Nevada State Capitol. And I must say, the Capitol grounds are absolutely beautiful. One thing we wanted to check out, though, before we went into the Nevada State Capitol itself, of course, was the old Ormsby County Courthouse. This particular courthouse was constructed during the 1920s and, of course, served as the county seat of Ormsby County. Now, if there's one thing you need to know about Carson City, is that it's actually an independent city and has been an independent city since 1969, when Ormsby County was dissolved, and Carson City has been an independent city ever since. Of course, the city of Carson City still maintains the original boundaries of the original Ormsby County, which goes all the way to the California state line in the middle of Lake Tahoe, so Nevada actually has 16 counties and one independent city, of course, with the independent city being Carson City. After checking out the Ormsby County Courthouse, my grandpa and I walked literally right across the street over towards the Nevada State Capitol building. The Nevada State Capitol building was constructed between 1869 and 1871 and was added to the National Register of Historic Places on June 10, 1975. Here is a fun fact. The Nevada State Capitol sits 4,682 feet above sea level, which makes it the fourth highest state capitol in the U.S. after Denver, Colorado, Cheyenne, Wyoming, and Santa Fe, New Mexico. Because the city limits of Carson City actually extend all the way over to the California border in the middle of Lake Tahoe, the highest point under the jurisdiction of Carson City is actually Snow Valley Peak, located just west of the city and is 9,214 feet above sea level.
All right, Grandpa, where are we right now?
We're in Carson City at the Nevada State Capitol building.
It's kind of hard to see the Capitol building with all these trees in the way in the front of it.
Yeah, there's a million trees here, I tell you. I've never seen so many trees in front of a Capitol, but it's nice.
It makes it hard to take pictures of the building.
Well, yeah, that's a big problem.
All right, you ready to go check it out?
Yeah, let's go see what's going on.
My grandpa and I spent about an hour here at the Nevada State Capitol just checking out the various rooms and all the displays they had in here. We were here about an hour before it closed, so we really tried to see as much as we could before they closed about an hour after we got there. Right as you walk in the front door, a statue of Sarah Winnemucca is there to greet you. After making our way upstairs, we went into the old Senate chamber, which they have converted into Battleborn Hall, which has so much information here about the state of Nevada and a lot of its history, very similar to the State Museum right across the street, but this place is just really awesome, just how much they've really renovated this place and just made it really tourist friendly in my personal opinion. And very similarly to when we were over there at the Nevada State Museum right across the street, my grandpa and I were one of the only people here in the building, besides some official government officials, of course. So I thought that was really sad, but it's just really nice that we got to tour this and just shed some light on this place as well, just like we did with the museum. Probably one of my favorite displays here is the 36-star flag that they had on display here, which is awesome because that's when Nevada became a state back in 1864. After checking out the Battleborn Museum, my grandpa and I made our way over to the old Nevada State Assembly Hall, which of course they kept it in really awesome condition here. Of course, this is not where the current Nevada State Assembly meets whatsoever, but one thing that I really liked is that they had the flag of every single Nevada county up here on display right as you walk in the door. What do you think of the Nevada State Assembly here in the Nevada State Capitol?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's this is actually the old assembly, the original assembly room.
Yep.
The Senate room is on the opposite end down there.
In a different building.
In a different building.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in different buildings now.
And then I really like how they have all of the county flags up here on display as well for all the counties of Nevada. So Nevada became a state during 1864 during the American Civil War, and one of the reasons that it became a state during that time is because the United States Congress wanted to make sure that President Abraham Lincoln was going to get reelected at the time, and everybody knew that if they made Nevada a state that it would vote for the reelection of Abraham Lincoln, which of course it ended up doing in 1864. But one big criticism of Nevada not becoming a state so quickly is that it didn't have the population requirements to become a state. In fact, Nevada didn't have the necessary population requirements to become a state until the late 19th century. They also have some great information here as to why Nevada got that southern tip down there at the very bottom of the state in 1867, mainly because they wanted some access to the Colorado River because, as you know, Nevada is a pretty dry state, but there was also some mining going on down there in that part of Nevada at the time as well. Prior to that, it was actually part of Arizona territory. Water is a necessity here in the dry state of Nevada, and many water diversions upriver, such as along the Walker River, have diminished the size of many lakes in the state, such as Walker Lake, which is about a quarter of the size it used to be before the area was settled by white people in the 1840s, 50s, and 60s. After spending a good amount of time inside the Nevada State Capitol, we made our way out to where they had these various memorials for firefighters, police officers, and then of course they had a nice memorial here to Kit Carson, which of course is what Carson City, Nevada is named after. Kit Carson was actually a scout and a guide for John C. Fremont because John C. Fremont actually spent a great deal in Nevada during his various expeditions out west. Of course, they also had a police officer memorial out here for all the police officers who have died in the line of duty serving the great state of Nevada and the wonderful people that live here. I just thought this was a really nice touch overall. All right, my grandpa and I just got done touring the Nevada State Capitol here in Carson City. What did you think of it?
It's nice. It's a really nice building. It's all, they have all the rooms open in there. You can go in and check it out. The Senate, the House of Representatives, the Assembly, everything. It's pretty cool. The Supreme Court, because they're all relocated in other buildings, but it's nice. It's a really nice building.
All right, as promised earlier in the video, here is the Batmobile that is located inside the Nugget Casino here in downtown Carson City, Nevada. The Batmobile is a permanent fixture here in the Carson Nugget Casino here in downtown Carson City, Nevada here on the casino floor. This was quite the awesome day to end our day here exploring downtown Carson City, Nevada. This is definitely one of the most underrated cities in Nevada, especially if you like history. I highly recommend visiting Carson City and just giving it a chance, because maybe it might surprise you. You might learn quite a bit about Carson City and the state of Nevada as a whole. My grandpa and I spent the first 2 nights of our Nevada road trip in Lake Tahoe, and the next day we immediately headed towards Virginia City, where we'd be spending a majority of day number 2 on our Nevada road trip. We stopped up here at the summit of Spooner Summit just to learn about all the information plaques that they have here, which provided some great information about the construction of the Lincoln Highway over Spooner Summit and the east side of Lake Tahoe, heading down to Carson City. After getting some breakfast in Carson City, my grandpa and I made our way over to Nevada State Route 341 and 342, which brought us up to Virginia City. Before reaching Virginia City, you do pass through 2 small towns called Silver City and Gold Hill, which played an important role in the establishment of the Comstock Lode here in Nevada. While the towns are mostly ghost towns these days, they do have quite a bit of history here that you can learn about on your way up towards Virginia City, Nevada.
All right, good morning, everybody. It is day number 2 on my grandpa and I's Nevada road trip, and tell the people what we're going to be doing today.
Well, right now we're in Silver City, and we're going to head to Gold Hill, and then Virginia City.
Yep. So basically today we're going to be focusing on doing various tours of the Comstock Lode here in Nevada. And if you guys don't know anything about the Comstock Lode, it's basically one of the largest silver deposits in the United States, and is basically how Nevada became a state so early in its history.
Yeah, there was approximately 25,000 people during that time in Virginia City.
Which by far made it the largest city in Nevada at the time.
Yeah.
Of course, today it's a shadow of its former self.
But it's been restored, and it's really a neat place. If you've never been there, you're in the area, I recommend stopping in. It's a fun place.
Yes, and Virginia City is hands down one of the best preserved Old West mining towns in the United States. I can't think of one that's better than Virginia City off the top of my head, but this one's at the top of my list, and we can't wait to show you guys today.
Right here in Gold Hill, they have this sign that commemorates the first gold discovery here in Nevada in 1849.
So the California Gold Rush is probably the most famous gold rush in American history, but don't undersell the importance of the Comstock Lode here in Nevada and just all of the people that came to this area here during the 1850s and 1860s.
Yeah, this was quite an area here for gold and silver. So a lot of people came, a lot of people left. A lot of people came, a lot of people left.
Most of them disappointed.
Yeah, most disappointed, and a lot of them died here.
Yep. We're currently in Gold Hill, and Virginia City is just up the mountain that way.
Yeah. You can see kind of remnants up there on the hill of a mine right there. There's one of the mines right there.
Yep. And believe it or not, where we are right here in Gold Hill once had a population of 10,000 people during like the 1860s and 70s. This was quite a hopping place back in the day.
Yeah, probably between the 3 towns here, there's probably close to 50,000 people.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of stuff going on here.
Well, you ready to continue up the road?
Yeah, let's go.
Virginia City, Nevada is one of the most historic and iconic mining towns in the American West. The discovery of the Comstock Lode in 1859 was the first major silver deposit discovery in the United States, and it played a vital role in the establishment of Nevada as both a territory and a state during the American Civil War.
All right, my grandpa and I have successfully made it to Virginia City, Nevada. Are you ready to do some exploring here in this historic town?
Yeah, let's do it. It's been quite a while. It's been a while, about 3 years since I've been here. So go check it out.
Yep. We're right next to the Story County Courthouse, so I guess we could start right there.
Yeah, good to place any.
The Story County Courthouse here in Virginia City was built in 1877 after the original courthouse was destroyed in a fire that ravaged the city in 1875. It was the most expensive courthouse in Nevada, and it held that title for nearly 60 years. The 2-story building provides office space for all major agencies of local government still to this very day, and is one of the oldest operating courthouses in Nevada. One of the principal features of the Story County Courthouse is the 7-foot statue of Justice that stands in a recess above the main doorway. Right here is the Piper's Opera House, which unfortunately my grandpa and I didn't get to tour on this visit.
All right, we just got done visiting the Story County Courthouse. What did you think of it?
Oh, it's pretty neat. It's the first one I've ever seen that has Lady Justice up there, the statue up there on the second level on the outside. It's pretty cool. Never seen that before.
Many of the buildings here in Virginia City date back to the mid and late 1870s, and many of the original buildings here were destroyed in a fire that ravaged the city in 1875. The fire cost over $12 million in damage and destroyed over 300 businesses. Right here, my grandpa and I are entering the Silver Queen Hotel, which was built in 1876 and is the oldest hotel in Virginia City. Right there in the main lobby, you can see the infamous Silver Queen, which is made up of 3,261 Morgan silver dollars that were mined directly here in the Comstock Lode in Virginia City. The Silver Queen Hotel also features a wedding chapel, which is one of the most popular places here in Virginia City to get married. The Silver Queen is roughly 16 feet tall and contains over 200 pounds of silver, and is a tribute to the flamboyant heyday of Nevada's most famous mining town. I don't know about you guys, but being here in Virginia City really makes it feel like you're living back in the 19th century US. I would just absolutely love to time travel back in time and see what life was like here back then.
Man, that was a lot of silver dollars in there, wasn't it?
Yeah, but tell me, that picture's like 16 feet tall.
One thing that's really nice about Virginia City is that the entire downtown historic district is very walkable with its sidewalks there on each side of the main drag through town. It really feels like you're in a living history museum whenever you're walking up and down the main street there in Virginia City.
And it almost feels like you're living in the 19th century when you're passing through this town and just checking out everything.
Yeah, it's fully restored. You know, it's most of it are original building. Everything's original buildings here. There were a couple fires here back in the day, but yeah, it is. It's like stepping back in time.
Yep, the whole city is like a living history museum.
Yeah, it is. It is.
All right, you ready to go check out the Way It Was Museum right here at the north end of town?
Yeah, let's do it.
After walking through the heart of Virginia City, my grandpa and I made our way to the north end of town to check out the Way It Was Museum. Here, visitors can revel in an amazing window of the region's rich Western heritage thanks to an abundant selection of rare photographs, mining, and mineral artifacts stemming from the mighty Comstock Lode. The museum claims to have the most complete collection of Comstock Lode memorabilia in the world, and it's hard to argue against that fact when you step inside the museum.
You're looking right here at a assay furnace that they used to use to melt down the ore to get retrieve the gold and silver, and it was quite a process actually. And if you look up there on the shelf, there's a bottle up there that says HCl. That's hydrochloric acid, also dangerous.
The museum costs $4 to enter, which you can pay right there when you enter the museum, or you can get in there by purchasing the Comstock Adventures Pass that includes a variety of attractions here in Virginia City. The museum is open year-round and is open from 10:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The historic photography and vintage memorabilia displayed at the Way It Was Museum tells the story of how real Comstock miners lived and worked. I can't imagine what working conditions were like here in Virginia City during the 19th century, especially if you had to work down in the mines. One thing I really like that they have here is a model of what Virginia City looks like under the ground, which we're currently walking on, and I gotta be honest, Virginia City is actually pretty hollow and I would hate to be here during a major earthquake. You could honestly spend an hour or two here at the Way It Was Museum just learning about the various information that they have here on Virginia City, as well as the Comstock Lode and the mines and just what life was like here. It's honestly well worth the price of admission, and like I said, you could spend hours here just learning everything that there is to learn about Virginia City. This is definitely one of the best museums I've ever been to.
Even though this looks pretty old, it looks like a comfortable ride.
Yeah,
the seats on it.
They got nice. It was nice. They were pretty comfortable, I guess.
My grandpa and I spent a good 30 minutes here at the Way It Was Museum just learning about the various information that they had on Virginia City and the various mines here.
You going for a ride?
Yeah, going for a ride in the ore car.
Do you think you could survive in the Old West?
I probably would have, I guess. I don't know. If I was born then, I probably would. You'd have to survive.
What would be your choice of career in that era?
I don't know. It would be hard to... It all depends on your education. If you were educated and came from the East, you could do a lot of stuff. Be shopkeepers, doctors, dentists, whatever. But if you're just a laborer, guess where you were?
Yeah.
In the mines. That's it.
One thing I love about Virginia City is its geographic setting up here in the Virginia Range. Believe it or not, Virginia City sits 6,200 feet above sea level, which puts it at the same elevation as nearby Lake Tahoe. The next attraction my grandpa and I went to here in Virginia City was the Delta Saloon, which is one of the oldest operating saloons and bars in Virginia City and the state of Nevada. The saloon features the suicide table, which is famous for gambling losers apparently committing suicide on the table for taking heavy losses here at the Delta Saloon. One gambler reportedly lost over $70,000 here in one night and apparently shot himself on the table. And if you guys know anything about the Old West, $70,000 was a lot of money in the 19th century. One of Virginia City's most famous residents was Samuel Clemens, who later became known as Mark Twain, and believe it or not, Virginia City is where the name Mark Twain was born when Samuel Clemens became an editor for the Territorial Enterprise, which was Nevada's first newspaper that originally was founded in Genoa in 1858 but moved to Virginia City here in 1859 after the discovery of the Comstock lode. Samuel Clemens lived in Nevada between 1861 and 1864 and officially moved to Virginia City in the fall of 1862 and quickly became one of the city's most famous residents. Unfortunately, the Mark Twain Museum was not open when my grandpa and I were visiting Virginia City, so we just continued walking down the street and checking out some of the other quirky shops that they had here along C Street or Nevada State Route 341. One of my favorite places to visit in Virginia City is the Virginia City Mercantile, and they have anything and everything that you could possibly think of here in this store. And honestly, it can be a bit overwhelming coming in here, and one thing that's really nice is they always have someone out front handing out root beer candy. One thing I personally like about this store is that they have flags from all over the world of every US state and every country that you could possibly think of here. And it's just really awesome that they have just some spices and some candy and just other things that just really make this type of place really fun and worth visiting in my personal opinion. Another store my grandpa and I checked out while we were here was this sign and poster store, which, believe it or not, is probably one of my favorite stores. Although one little nitpick that I have here about this store is that their road signs aren't all technically correct. They even have a California State Route 50 shield in here. And I don't know about you guys, but there is no California State Route 50. It is US 50. Get it right, guys. Come on now. Alright, enough of me ranting. Let's get into some more history about Virginia City. Believe it or not, at its peak during the mid-1870s, Virginia City had a population of about 25,000 people and was by far the largest city in Nevada at the time. It's pretty safe to say that Virginia City and the Comstock lode played a major role in the development of Nevada as a territory and later a state, because after the city was founded in 1859, it was still part of Utah Territory, and then the extreme growth of the western part of Utah Territory forced the creation of Nevada Territory in 1861, and then just 3 years after that, Nevada became a state in 1864 during the American Civil War. It's pretty safe to say that without Virginia City, Nevada would have not become a state as soon as it did.
Alright, so my grandpa and I just got done exploring the downtown area of Virginia City. What did you think of everything that we saw here in Virginia City?
Like the old historical buildings and everything. It's unfortunate, but it's a nice place to visit, but it's kind of a tourist trap now. The same. It's all, it's the same.
The next point of interest in Virginia City that my grandpa and I went to go see was the St. Mary's in the Mountains Catholic Church, which is one of the most beautiful churches I have ever seen in my life. When it comes to historic buildings in Virginia City, it doesn't get much better than this church right here.
Alright, so the next thing my grandpa and I are going to do here in Virginia City is visit the St. Mary's in the Mountains Catholic Church, which is one of the oldest churches in Nevada and one of the best preserved as well.
Yeah, it's a beautiful church. It's all brick, and it's gorgeous. It really is.
The church was originally built in 1868 but was damaged in the Great Fire of 1875 but was rebuilt a year later in 1876. It is one of the oldest churches in Nevada and is known as the Bonanza Church because of the rich silver mines that it was built on top of. It's quite disputed on which Catholic church is actually older, but the St. Mary's in the Mountains here in Virginia City is the second oldest Catholic church in Nevada after the St. Augustine's Catholic Church located in Austin, Nevada along the loneliest road in America. Whether you're religious or not, it's undeniable just how beautiful this Catholic church is here in Virginia City and the amazing architecture and design that went into constructing this masterpiece. The church still holds Sunday services to this very day and is one of the most visited attractions here in Virginia City. While visiting the church is free, the church is run completely on donations, so if you're feeling generous, be sure to leave a donation there at the front desk. As a religious person myself, I'm not tied to the Catholic faith, but I can still appreciate the spirit, historical, and religious significance a church like this holds here in the community. It's something that people from all walks of life, no matter your religion or lack thereof, can appreciate. My grandpa and I spent a great deal of time here just taking in the amazing beauty and spirit that this building embodies here in Virginia City. Just down the street from the Catholic Church is St. Peter's Episcopal Church, which was also built in 1868 and is the oldest Episcopal church in Nevada. The building was even listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1978.
All right, Grandpa, what did you think of St. Mary's in the Mountains Catholic Church here in Virginia City, Nevada?
It's a beautiful church, both inside and outside. Most Catholic churches, old Catholic churches in this style, are done very ornate. They're very ornate inside, very beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful stained glass windows. It's just a gorgeous building.
Probably my favorite one in Virginia City.
Yes, it is.
After spending some time there checking out the churches, my grandpa and I made our way over to the rail yard at the Virginia and Truckee Railroad, which is a standard gauge railroad that began operation in 1870 and lasted until 1950 and has been a heritage railroad since 1976 and is one of the most popular attractions here in Virginia City. All in all, my grandpa and I spent a few hours here exploring Virginia City, and we had an absolute blast stepping back in time and checking out what is today called the richest hill on earth. Virginia City is one of the best preserved Old West towns in the United States and is definitely worth a visit if you're in the area. After spending a few hours there in Virginia City, my grandpa and I made our way down 6 Mile Canyon Road towards the city of Dayton to continue exploring other small towns here in northern Nevada. Dayton, Nevada is a small historic town located in Lyon County about 12 miles east of the state capital of Carson City. It's one of the oldest settlements in Nevada and dates back to 1849 when gold was discovered in nearby canyons, which kicked off the gold rush here in Nevada and eventually led to the Comstock Lode in Virginia City.
All right, so my grandpa and I have made it here to Dayton, Nevada, which is famous for being the first gold discovery site in Nevada, which happened all the way back in 1849, right around the same time the California Gold Rush happened.
Yeah, that's true. So it's a pretty interesting fact. I really didn't know that until you told me that the gold was first discovered here in Dayton, in Nevada.
Yep. And then we're also along the Pony Express Trail right here, because the Pony Express basically follows US 50.
Yeah,
or actually, the other way around, US 50 follows the Pony Express.
Yeah, it does. Follows it all the way up through South Lake Tahoe.
Yep. And all the way to Sacramento.
Yep.
The Odeon Saloon here in Dayton is the oldest saloon in town and originally opened in 1863. Odeon is an ancient Greek word meaning a building for singing, dancing, music, and poetry. This building right here dates back to 1861 and housed the Wells Fargo Overland Stage Station and later became the Dayton Firehouse, which is manned by volunteers. The original building burned in a fire in 1867 and then was later rebuilt by 1875. Dayton was originally known as Chinatown because of the Chinese laborers who worked in the area during the mining boom. It later became an important milling center for the Comstock Lode up in Virginia City. The Dayton Tap House here is one of the oldest saloons in Nevada and originally opened in 1887 and then recently reopened here earlier this year in 2024 after undergoing some renovations. As previously mentioned, the first gold discovery in Nevada took place right here at the base of Gold Canyon where Dayton sits today. The gold rush was easily outshined by the California Gold Rush further west in the Sierra Nevada mountains, but it still played a significant role in the establishment of the mining industry that would dominate Nevada in the decades to come.
There's a plaque back there in town that said that canyon right over there is where the first gold discovery happened here in Nevada, which of course predated the Comstock Lode up there in Virginia City by about 10 years. So apparently this is where the first dance happened, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Pretty interesting.
Do you want to bust out some moves in honor of the commemoration?
Not really. I don't know how to do the polka and all that stuff. I don't know what that is, or the hokey pokey. I don't know. Sorry.
I was hoping you could do some line dancing or something,
no,
but
I can't even do that.
Dayton boasts several historic sites, including the Dayton Historic District, which is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The district includes buildings from the 19th century, such as the Odeon Hall and the Bluestone Building, and the Dayton Historic District is located just a few blocks west of US Route 50 in Nevada, which is also known as the loneliest road in America.
Hey, Grandpa, what did you think of Old Town Dayton here in Nevada?
It's a pretty cute little area here. There's some nice old buildings, and this is a Pony Express stop here, so it's pretty interesting.
Yep. All right, we got one more town here in Nevada to check out today before we conclude day number 2 on our Nevada road trip. Genoa, which is the first settlement in Nevada.
That's right. Forgot about Genoa, yeah. Okay.
You ready to go check that out before we end off the day?
Let's go check it out.
Genoa, Nevada is a super charming town and is actually the oldest settlement in Nevada, and it was founded in 1851. It is a small town with a lot of character and history, and it's definitely worth a visit if you're in the area. Genoa, Nevada is located about 20 miles south of the state capital of Carson City and is located in the Carson Valley right at the base of the Sierra Nevada mountain range. It is also not too far away from the city of Minden, which is the county seat of Douglas County. Genoa, Nevada was originally known as Mormon Station because it was established by Mormon traders along the California Trail. The first thing my grandpa and I did was made our way over to Mormon Station State Historic Park, which is a replica of the original trading post that was built here in 1851 by the Mormons. My grandpa and I spent a good hour here at the Mormon Station State Historic Park just checking out the sites and learning about all of the history of the town of Genoa, as well as learning a lot about the history of the Mormons along the California Trail.
So my grandpa and I have made it to Genoa, Nevada, which is known as Nevada's oldest settlement and dates all the way back to 1851.
Yeah, it's pretty nice here. Looks like there's quite a few old buildings here, so we're going to check it out. We're in a nice park right now, so...
Do you know who founded Genoa?
Not really.
It was the Mormons. And right here, we're at the Mormon Station State Historic Monument, so...
That's cool. Okay.
Ready to go check it out?
Yeah, let's do it.
They have a lot of great information about the Pony Express, California Trail, as well as what the Mormons' journey was like on these various trails as they crossed Nevada way back in the middle of the 19th century.
Briefly touched on this yesterday when we were in the Nevada State Museum in Carson City, but this graph also shows how Nevada has changed shape ever since it was created as a territory, which basically it looked like this when it was a territory, and then it got expanded to here in 1862 when it was still a territory, and then when Nevada became a state in 1864, it basically looked like this again, and then it became expanded again in 1866, and then finally the last addition to Nevada was down here in 1867. So before Nevada was even its own territory, it was part of the greater Utah territory. And as you can see right here, the entire part of the western half of the Utah territory became part of Nevada. So Utah territory lost half of its land to Nevada.
Yeah, they sure did. I guess it is what it is.
But then after Nevada became a state, it kept losing even more territory to Nevada.
Yeah, well, they ended up getting the chunk at the bottom. They needed water, so they have the Colorado River there.
Well, yes, but that was actually given from Arizona territory. When it was expanded when it was expanded east, it was given from Utah territory. But the southern half that you see right here on this graph was actually given from Arizona.
Oh.
Mormon Station State Historic Park was established in 1957. It was reconstructed some years prior after a fire had swept through and burned down most of the original Mormon Station trading post in June of 1910. The park is completely free to visit with the exception of the museum, which we will be checking out here very soon. It's definitely an awesome park that you could spend an hour or two at just by checking out the various information plaques and all the things that they have on display here at the park.
Right here, this map shows the California Trail as it passes through Nevada. Right here is the infamous Hastings Cutoff route, which was a quote-unquote shortcut of the California Trail, but it wasn't really much of a shortcut. And the Donner Party infamously took this route and they got set way back, and they arrived here at the Sierra Nevada way too late, where they ended up getting caught in a snowstorm and then had to camp out the winter there. And well, everybody knows the story of the Donner Party, but right here you can see at the Humboldt Sink, you can see the California Trail splitting off into two different routes. This is the Truckee route, where you would follow the Truckee River up into the Sierra Nevada, and then this route right here that we're on right now is actually the Carson River route, where you would follow the Carson River up into the mountains going that way, and then you would cross the Sierra Nevada that way. The Carson River, of course, being just outside the town, right in that direction over there.
It wasn't too long after Mormon Station was established that Congress created the Utah Territory in 1850. And then after the mining boom in the western part of Utah Territory after the creation of the Comstock Lode in Virginia City, Nevada Territory would later be established in 1861. Of course, many of Nevada's earliest settlers were the Mormons, who were returning back to Utah Territory after fighting in the Mexican-American War. And one thing about the Mormon Station here in Genoa is that it was a huge resupply station for people heading west or east, because a lot of people would stop here and get their supplies before crossing the Sierra Nevada mountains. And if you were heading east back to the middle part of Utah Territory, of course you would resupply here after making the dangerous and long trek across the Sierra Nevada mountains. And all these clips that I'm showcasing to you right here are inside the little museum here that they have. I believe it cost my grandpa and I $2 per person to enter this museum, but it's definitely well worth it, as you get to learn a lot more about the Mormon Station and then what life was like back here during that time period. And then they just have a lot of things on display here as well about people's journeys and then all the supplies that they would have carried with them as they made the journey across the Sierra Nevada. Then they have very famous gear here, of course, that was used by Snowshoe Thompson, of course. Everybody knows about that history with Snowshoe Thompson and everything like that. It's just a really awesome museum here, and it's definitely worth the price of admission. I mean, you can't really beat the price of $2 to come inside this museum. Be sure to check the hours of the museum because they have very fluctuating hours, and my grandpa and I just got really lucky that it was open when we visited there, and it was actually closing about 30 minutes after we arrived there as well. And then right outside the museum here, they have some replicas of wagons and other modes of transportation that the Mormons and people along the California Trail would have been using back in the day when they were traveling through Genoa, which I thought was really awesome.
Well, my grandpa and I just got done exploring that little museum there, which happened to be open on this day that we visited here. On a previous visit that I was here, it wasn't even open, so maybe coming here on a Saturday was a nice decision.
Yeah, it probably was. Yeah, maybe it's open on the weekends. I don't know. Maybe just Saturday. Who knows?
But this is a really cool park here in Genoa, just going over the history of like the Pony Express and the California trails. And then, of course, you have the Mormon station right here, just to see what life was basically like back then.
Yeah. It was a hard life. It really was. It wasn't easy.
Believe it or not, when Genoa was founded, it briefly served as the first capital of Nevada Territory when the territory was first established in 1861, but not too long after, it got moved to nearby Carson City. The Nevada Territory's first newspaper, the Territorial Enterprise, was first founded in Genoa in 1858, but eventually moved to the boomtown of Virginia City just 2 years later. Mormon Station State Historic Park, as well as the main drag through the heart of Genoa, is part of the Genoa Historic District, which was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1975. Many of the homes here are built in late Victorian architecture. All in all, the Mormon Station State Historic Park is definitely worth a stop here if you're visiting Genoa, Nevada, and you can easily spend a couple hours here and still not see everything.
Man, I can't imagine what life must have been like to travel across Nevada on the California Trail way back in the 1800s. I don't know if I would survive, honestly.
Yeah, it was a rough journey, especially most of the time people walked. There were people that were walking alongside their schooners. It was a tough life. And children walked. Children had to walk too. Mm-hmm. Because they didn't want any more extra weight, on the oxen or on their horses.
Yep.
Or donkeys or mules.
Mm-hmm.
After spending some time there at the Mormon Station State Historic Park, my grandpa and I made our way over to the Genoa Courthouse Museum, which used to be the town's courthouse and jail. Believe it or not, Genoa was the first county seat of Douglas County when the county was originally created in 1861 and served as the county seat up until 1915 when the county seat got moved over to nearby Minden. All in all, Genoa is one of the most charming and historic small towns in Nevada and easily gets overlooked when you're traveling through the area because it's not on any major highway and it's located roughly 5 miles west of US Route 395. But if you come here, I guarantee you're going to fall in love with this charming small town. Have you guys ever been to Genoa? Let me know down in the comments.
All right, so our first stop here on day number 3 of our Nevada road trip is where?
Yeah, we're in Hawthorne, Nevada.
And what's the significance of Hawthorne?
There's a giant army base here. It's a munitions base.
Yes, it's actually the largest ammunition depot in the entire world, believe it or not, covering over 200 square miles.
Yeah, it's huge.
And of course, Hawthorne is also the county seat of Mineral County. And we actually saw the Mineral County Courthouse last time we were here, but we're actually going to be focusing on some other things to see here in Hawthorne. So you ready to go check them out?
Yeah, let's go check it. Let's do it.
Hawthorne, Nevada was originally settled in 1880 and quickly became a railroad hub with the arrival of the Carson and Colorado Railroad and served as a division and distribution site for the new railroad. In 1883, Hawthorne became the new county seat of Esmeralda County. However, it lost its county seat status to Goldfield in 1907, but then became the county seat of the newly formed Mineral County once again in 1911. In 1926, Hawthorne was selected as a new site for an ammunition depot, which has quickly grown into the world's largest ammunition storage facility at over 226 square miles and features over 2,400 bunkers. The military still plays an important role in Hawthorne and the surrounding community, and it has even earned the nickname America's Patriotic Home. Veterans Park here in Hawthorne, Nevada is definitely worth checking out here, as it's also serving as a rest area for travelers along US Route 95. And there's even a very large American flag here right in the heart of the park in the middle of town. And the flag is so large you can see it from miles away along US Route 95. And right out in the distance you can see Mount Grant there, which dominates the western horizon of Hawthorne, Nevada. Mount Grant is the tallest mountain in Mineral County, Nevada. I really like this sign right here, and they even have the Mineral County seal right here on this sign just outside of the McDonald's parking lot.
So what did you think of the Veterans Memorial Park here in Hawthorne, Nevada?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. You know, it's a little small park, but it's really patriotic.
And this is definitely one of the most patriotic towns in America right here.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it is.
Yep. Well, you ready to continue our trip?
Yeah, let's go.
The railroad certainly played an important role in the establishment of Hawthorne, Nevada in the late 1800s. It should be noted that US 95 has no services between Tonopah and Hawthorne, Nevada, which is 100 miles with no gas stations or food. If you're heading south from Hawthorne along US 95, be sure you have enough food and gas before leaving town. You are definitely in the middle of nowhere as you travel along US Route 95 through the middle of Nevada. Nevada has some of the lowest population density in the entire United States between Las Vegas and Reno. As you get closer to the Coaldale Junction where US Route 95 and US 6 meet, be sure to look off to your right as you'll get great views of the White Mountains and Boundary Peak, which is the highest point in Nevada.
All right, Grandpa, where are we right now?
We're at the Coaldale Junction
of US 6 and 95, and what are we looking at out there?
We're looking at Boundary Peak out there in the distance.
Yep, which is the highest point in Nevada and is located on the California-Nevada state line.
So they say.
Yeah, so funny thing is, Nevada is probably the only state that has a disputed high point. So obviously right out there, you can see a twin peak, and Boundary Peak is the right of those twin peaks out there in the distance. And just to the left of the Boundary Peak is Montgomery Peak. So Boundary Peak is kind of like a satellite peak of its taller neighbor, Montgomery Peak, which is in California. So a lot of people don't consider Boundary Peak its own independent mountain, but rather just a subsidiary peak of Montgomery Peak. So if Boundary Peak is not the highest point in Nevada by using those definitions, then the next highest point in Nevada is Wheeler Peak in Great Basin National Park. Like I said, this is Boundary Peak right here. You can call it the highest point in Nevada if you want to, but yeah, some people will say that it's not. It just really depends who you ask, really.
Yeah, to me it's just kind of stupid, but that's okay. That's politicians. Stupid.
All right, so what I have right here is an official state map of Nevada. And what's funny is this is where we are right here at the Coaldale Junction. And if you look over here where Boundary Peak is supposed to be, it's not even listed on this state map, which I find absolutely hilarious. And then if you look over here in Great Basin National Park, Wheeler Peak is listed right there. It's just funny to me that Nevada seems to forget about its own state high point, at least based off of this map right here.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that was just a misprint or they just, who knows what they did. Obviously they think Wheeler Peak is the highest point.
Yep. Because Wheeler Peak is the tallest independent mountain in Nevada that is completely within the state line and is not like a subsidiary peak of any peak, like it's its own mountain.
Yeah, that's true.
So what do you think is the true highest point in Nevada? Is it Boundary Peak or Wheeler Peak?
I'm going by the documentation, I guess Wheeler Peak.
Oh, I was not expecting you to say that.
The reason I'm saying that is because the dispute is because of the gap, or whatever you call it, in between those two peaks.
Yeah, so that's what's called a prominence. So to be considered your own independent mountain, you need at least 300 feet of prominence from your next closest neighbor, which Boundary Peak does not fall under that 300 feet of prominence. I believe it's only like 253 feet. So
that's a dispute, okay? If it doesn't match what it's supposed to be, then it's basically out of the picture.
Yep. But either way, no matter which way you slice it, no matter what kind of definition you want to use, that point over there is higher than any other point in the state of Nevada.
So it should be the highest point.
Yep.
But due to
technicalities
beyond our control, that's the way it is.
Yep. Why don't you say we continue down the road to Tonopah and stop confusing people?
Well, they'll get over it. We're on our way to Tonopah.
Yep. Whew. There's a whole lot of nothing out here, isn't there? Just look at these buildings right here at the Coaldale Junction. This is mostly what we've been seeing since we left Hawthorne.
Well, the only thing is there's a lot of graffiti.
Yep.
It was really hazy when my grandpa and I were driving through this area of Nevada here in June of 2024. So these clips that I'm showcasing to you right here were actually filmed back in April when I was doing a solo trip along US 95 in Nevada. And as you can see, the views are a lot more clear here in these shots that I took in April. Also, these mountains just look so much better with all the snow on them earlier in the season here than they did back in June when there was basically no snow on them whatsoever. But it's just really awesome that views like this exist here in Nevada, and just really goes to show that Nevada really lives up to its name, which basically means snow-capped in Spanish. It took us roughly 30 minutes to drive to Tonopah, and the first thing we did was we went to the old Nye County Courthouse here in Tonopah.
All right, everyone, my grandpa and I have successfully made it to Tonopah, Nevada. We're in the middle of nowhere, but at the same time, we're kind of in the middle of town. It's just kind of weird where Tonopah is located. We're just really far away from everything right now.
Yeah, we're like hundreds of miles in each direction away from another
gas station,
town.
food. Yeah, it's
everything. It's weird.
This is one of the most isolated towns in the lower 48. And we're going to be spending the night here in one of the scariest motels in America, and one of the most haunted as well. So
yeah, that's good. Maybe we'll see the ghost.
What are we going to do first here in Tonopah?
We're here to see the old Nye County Courthouse, which is right up there.
Yep. All right, let's go check it out.
Okay.
The old Nye County Courthouse was built here in 1905 after Tonopah became the new county seat of Nye County after it replaced the ghost town of Belmont. The old Nye County Courthouse was added to the National Register of Historic Places on May 20, 1982.
So yes, this dates back to 1905, and like I said, this is the second courthouse of Nye County because the original one is located in Belmont, Nevada, which is basically a ghost town these days. Right over there, you can see the historic Tonopah Miners Park, which we're actually going to be checking out here very soon. So there's definitely a lot to see here in Tonopah, and there's definitely a lot of history here, that's for sure. It almost reminds me of Virginia City, except the climate is a lot more drier and a lot more hot. Because we're a lot more farther south in the state. We're basically in the geographic center of Nevada where we're standing right here, believe it or not. And one thing I will definitely say is the geographic setting here in Tonopah is just amazing because it's up here in these mountains at about 6,000 feet elevation. So yeah, just the amazing views of the surrounding landscape here in Tonopah is a sight to behold, trust me folks. Right out there in the distance, you can see the Mizpah Hotel, which is where we're spending the night tonight. Hopefully we don't get haunted by ghosts while we're staying there.
Amazingly, the original courthouse of Nye County in Belmont, Nevada is also still standing, and you can visit it if you decide to visit the ghost town located about an hour northeast of Tonopah. The old Nye County Courthouse here in Tonopah, Nevada is located just a few blocks east of US Route 95 and US 6, and I'm standing right here at US 95 and US 6 looking back towards the old courthouse. Located just north of town is the new Nye County Courthouse, which opened in 1995 and replaced the original one here in downtown Tonopah.
All right, Grandpa, what did you think of the old Nye County Courthouse there in Tonopah, Nevada?
Well, when I first saw it from the road, I thought it was a church because it was, it didn't look like a courthouse because it has a dome. So, but when we got up to look at it, it's a nice old building, built in the, 1900s?
1905.
Yeah, so it has that 1905 architecture. It's pretty nice.
So that's actually the second county courthouse of Nye County because Tonopah became the county seat of Nye County in 1905 when it stole it from Belmont, which is the original county seat. And believe it or not, the original Nye County courthouse in Belmont is still standing, and you can still go see and check it out. Of course, Belmont is mostly a ghost town in the middle of nowhere these days, but hey, I mean, that's kind of the theme of this entire road trip, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
But anyways, you ready to go check out the new Nye County Courthouse here in Tonopah, which opened all the way back in 1995, so it's a very modern building.
Yeah, it is a modern building.
It's just a year older than I am,
yeah.
so...
Let's go look at it.
Yep.
I can tell you right now there's nothing really special about the new Nye County Courthouse, but it just looks like a modern building. Nothing really special, but it does have a very unique design, and my grandpa thought it looked like a church, so I guess that's the best thing I could compare it to. And honestly, it looks like a library if you were to ask my personal opinion if you didn't tell me what it was beforehand.
All right, so my grandpa and I are standing right here in front of the new Nye County Courthouse here, just outside of Tonopah. So what are your thoughts on the new building?
Well, it's a large building. It's nice. It's modern. It's a modern building. You know, it looks like most modern buildings do. Main building, main entrance with 2 annexes on either side.
So one thing I find kind of funny about just getting to this courthouse, so when you leave Tonopah, you actually re-enter Esmeralda County, and then you turn right on a street to get to this courthouse, and then re-enter Nye County, and then it's only about 1,000 feet more until you actually get to the courthouse. So you actually have to enter another county just to come to this courthouse.
Yeah, that really makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
And Tonopah is actually one of the least centrally located county seats in the United States. Of course, Nye County is the largest county in Nevada and is the 3rd largest county in the entire United States after Coconino County, Arizona, and San Bernardino County, California. So it's a very big county.
Yeah, it is, and I feel sorry for people that have to drive a couple hundred miles to get here to go to court, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yep.
After visiting the new Nye County Courthouse, my grandpa and I made our way over to the Clown Motel, which is voted the scariest hotel in America.
All right, so my grandpa and I are here at the Clown Motel here in Tonopah, Nevada, which has been voted one of the scariest motels in the United States.
Yeah, that's what they claim, and I guess it depends on what room you get. This scarier. They start off, you know, just regular, and then they end up real scary.
Yeah, and they actually have the world's largest collection of clowns there in the gift shop, so that's going to be very interesting to check out.
Yeah, I want to go see that.
Me personally, I'm not afraid of clowns. What about you?
No, I'm not afraid of clowns either, but
they can be creepy.
Yeah, they can be.
The Clown Motel in Tonopah is definitely one of the most unique hotels here in the United States. Out here in the middle of broad daylight, it doesn't look that scary, but it definitely gets a lot spookier here at night, that's for sure. The Clown Motel opened in 1985 by Leroy and Leona David in honor of their late father, Clarence David, whose collection of over 150 clowns was used to decorate the property. The Clown Motel has 31 rooms, and each of them vary in scare factor. If you're afraid of clowns, this probably isn't the place for you, but my grandpa and I certainly are not afraid of clowns, so we had no problem coming in here and just checking out the clown collection that they have inside the gift shop and main hotel lobby. Inside the main hotel lobby, the Clown Motel has over 4,000 pieces of clown memorabilia. It's honestly quite amazing to see just how many different memorabilia of various clowns that they have here on display in the lobby. It was quite overwhelming, and honestly, if you really wanted to spend a lot of time here, I'm sure you could spend hours here and not see everything that this hotel has to offer. Also to note, if you do have any clown memorabilia and you want to donate to the hotel gladly accepts donations for display here inside the Clown Motel.
Man, all these clowns in here, and the biggest one's right in front of me right here.
Yeah, that's me, Bozo. Bozo the clown. When my hair grows out.
He is, in fact, bald, guys.
Yeah, I am. Unfortunately.
One thing I found funny is that they have a portrait of every single president here painted in a clown. I mean, isn't every politician a clown? Am I right? They even had a clown Christmas tree here, and that was just really awesome in the middle of June.
All right, Grandpa, so what did you think of the Clown Motel here in Tonopah, Nevada?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. There's a lot of clowns in the museum in there. It's there's thousands of them in there, I guess.
Man, it almost makes me want to stay here. So believe it or not, I actually ran a poll on my Instagram on where to stay here in Tonopah. The choices were, of course, the Clown Motel or the Mizpah Hotel. And the Mizpah Hotel won by like 2 votes. So maybe next time we pass through here, we could stay at the Clown Motel, but we're actually going to be staying at the Mizpah Hotel, which is actually one of the more haunted hotels in the United States. So
yeah, so we'll go check that out. You know, maybe we'll see the ghost.
I know, right? The Lady in Red, as she's known. All right, you ready to go see more of Tonopah?
Yeah, let's do it.
What makes the Clown Motel scary, especially at night, is it's right next to the Tonopah Cemetery, and a lot of people like to come ghost hunting out here. So if you've been ghost hunting out here in the Tonopah Cemetery next to the Clown Motel, let me know what your experiences were like down in the comments. After spending some time there at the Clown Motel, my grandpa and I made our way to downtown Tonopah, where we were checking out the Mizpah Hotel, which is one of the most haunted hotels in the United States. And my grandpa and I just so happened to be spending the night here when my grandpa and I were visiting Tonopah. The Mizpah Hotel here in Tonopah, Nevada opened in 1907, and along with the nearby Belvada Hotel served as the tallest building in Nevada until 1927. It was one of the most luxurious hotels in Nevada at the time of its opening, and believe it or not, this was the first hotel in the United States with an electric elevator, believe it or not. My grandpa and I quickly made our way inside the hotel to check it out and to check into our room for the night. And let me tell you, it was pretty creepy when we walked inside these doors. It almost felt like someone was watching, or perhaps following us around, if you know what I mean. Many believe the hotel to be forever haunted, and the Lady in Red is a ghostly figure said to roam the halls here inside the Mizpah Hotel.
I wonder if the elevator's haunted.
I don't know.
I like how it has that red tint again. Maybe the Lady in Red's watching.
Oh, maybe she is.
What would you ask her if she came up to you right now?
Why are you still here?
Aren't you funny?
After making it up to the 4th floor of the hotel, my grandpa and I made our way over to our room, and surprisingly, it looked very clean and very restored, and honestly didn't feel like the room was over 100 years old.
All right, so my grandpa and I checked into our hotel here in downtown Tonopah, and it is the Mizpah Hotel, which is one of the most haunted hotels in the United States, and it's also one of the most historic. What do you think of it so far?
It's nice. It's really nice. The rooms are really nice, actually, and they've done a good job of restoring it. I really like it.
This is my personal first time staying in a historic hotel, so I actually really like it, though.
Yeah, it's nice. The rooms are really nice.
Yep. All right, you ready to do a little bit more exploring of Tonopah before we get dinner?
Yeah, let's do it.
Did you know this was the first hotel west of the Mississippi with an electric elevator in the United States?
No, I didn't. I didn't really know that.
Do you think that's pretty cool?
Yeah, it is.
And it actually works.
Well, I'm sure it's been redone.
Yeah, I know,
Since
right?
1900s, yeah.
All right, time to go down. With this red tint in here, it almost feels like the Lady in Red's in here with us.
Yeah, I wish she was.
What would you say to her?
I don't know, find out what happened to her.
Well, she was a prostitute, so,
Oh.
and her lover apparently killed her in this hotel, so.
That's too bad. She lost business.
After checking into the Mizpah Hotel, my grandpa and I eventually made our way over to the Tonopah Historic Mining Park. This park lets you explore old mining equipment and buildings. It's a great way to learn about the town's mining history. Tonopah, Nevada was founded in 1900 when Jim Butler discovered silver-rich ore, which led to a massive mining boom. The town quickly grew as miners and prospectors flocked to the area. By 1905, Tonopah was thriving with businesses, saloons, and even an opera house. The mining industry was the backbone of Tonopah's economy for many years, producing millions of dollars worth of silver and gold. The town also played a significant role during World War I and World War II, providing essential minerals for the war effort. Tonopah, Nevada has the distinction of having the second largest silver strike in Nevada after the Comstock lode in Virginia City, which has led Tonopah to be known as the Queen of the Silver Camps. With its geographic setting about 6,000 feet above sea level, it's really awesome to have views like this inside the Tonopah Historic Mining Park, where you basically get panoramic views of the whole city.
Right out there in the distance, you can see the old 90 County Courthouse that we were at earlier today.
Tonopah is one of the most isolated towns in the United States, and the nearest other town of sizable comparison is Hawthorne, Nevada, which is over 100 miles away along US Route 95. Tonopah is located roughly halfway between Reno and Las Vegas along US Route 95 and is a popular stop for travelers to refuel and recharge on the long journey.
And then, of course, right here, you can see the Mizpah Hotel where we're spending the night tonight.
I really wish my grandpa and I could spend more time here because we only got about 30 minutes before we had to leave before the mining park closed, and that just seems to be a recurring thing on our travels, is we just never get enough time in these places. I always love going to places like this because it just really gives you a sense of what mining was like back in Tonopah at the time. It just really brings towns like this to life. You just pass through them on US 95 without knowing too much about them, but if you spend enough time here, you get to learn a whole new perspective of the town.
All right, what did you think of the Tonopah Historic Mining Park? It sucks that we couldn't spend a lot of time there, but we didn't get into the park until 4:30 and it closed at 5 o'clock, so.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting place. I must have been really hopping back in the 1900s up here, because there's a lot of mines up here.
Yeah, so the Tonopah, believe it or not, was actually the second largest silver rush in the state after Virginia City, which we saw yesterday. But this was a pretty hopping place back in the 1900s.
Yeah, I bet it was.
All right, since it's a very hot day, how about we go get a root beer float?
Yeah, let's get one.
Whew.
Even though we were 6,000 feet above sea level, it was still 90 degrees when we were here.
Marlboro and Camel. That's all we carry.
I've only seen these in Nevada.
Yeah, you won't see these in California anymore.
Were these common back in your day?
Oh yeah, everywhere, every place. Yeah.
All in all, my grandpa and I had an amazing time exploring Nevada and its charming small towns. There is so much more to Nevada than Reno and Las Vegas. I'm certain that if you visit these small towns, as well as other charming small towns in the state, you'll fall in love with Nevada the way my grandpa and I did on this road trip. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you all have an amazing day, and take care everyone. Stay tuned to the next adventure. We will see you next time.